The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
And here we go.
It's the comic book bullies.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
It's the comic book bullies.
You will bow down before me!
It's the comic book bullies.
Now I am the master.
It's the comic book bullies. It's the comic book bullies.
Welcome back to the Comic Book Bullies. We're Nerd is the New Bully. I'm your host, Leroy, a.k.a. The Force Unleashed, with my co-hosts.
This is Eli the Hutt.
Yep. And we're back with another episode. And you may see something a little bit differently now, or if you're on iTunes or Spotify, you may not see anything differently. But if you're on YouTube and maybe Twitch, but nobody checks the Twitch channel anyway, you might see something different. You might see our beautiful faces. We have face for podcast, or radio, if you will. So we're trying to expand our branding and see what's going on, because I guess YouTube was acknowledging the podcast we were doing before is spam. So maybe this will be different and maybe expand it from there. So until then, let's just keep it going on. So yes, Gomer, Boogie, Adam with Adams, you win. So let's keep going from there. So let's just go keep going on. So Eli, what's been going on with you?
Oh, I've been busy as hell this whole week. Gotta read this, watch that, write this, record that.
I forgot you're the hardest working man in outright geekery now.
Yeah, man. I'm like, watching movies, writing reviews, recording a pod on this, recording a pod on that. Like basically every other day I was like doing something for outright geekery.
Yeah, I mean, every time I saw you on stream more than I saw like the local news anchor. Got me inspired with it. I started being on it more time. You know, that Saturday, I was on that stream for like 3 hours straight.
Okay.
Because so we did
the one where you were playing the video game?
Yeah. So that's 1 hour and a half.
Okay.
I went a little bit longer than 1 or 2. But and then we did a super fun time explosion.
Yeah.
I think we kind of pissed people off because people started leaving when we came on it. I think we kind of dominated the conversation.
Yeah, all you want to do is talk about Marvel and shit.
And it was like, fuck this, I'm out. And then I did the other Danger Room, Danger Zone. I don't know what I'm going to call it, anything like that. They got some good feedback for it. People want me to continue it. I don't know. I'm kind of stretching myself thin as it is already.
Yeah, that's what I've been realizing this week. I'm like, damn. I'm doing all this shit and yeah.
Right, and then we actually have to do this podcast. You're like, oh damn, we do, because you gotta remember, we do this once a week, and so much shit has happened within this week, just as far as recording and things like that. We kind of forgot. Oh yeah, we gotta do a Bullies podcast.
Yeah, and that was pretty easy. That was the easiest one.
Yeah, I mean, because you've done this book before. This is easy for you.
Yeah, I mean, I was recording. I was doing the Geek Savs. But then, a major, we've been waiting for that movie all for like the past couple years. So that was like a huge deal. It finally dropped and I watched it like twice and wrote a review. Then I was like, okay, this movie's hot right now. So let's get our review podcast out. So we had to do that, Then
can you tell the listeners and audience and viewers what movie you're talking about?
Oh, Blood Quantum.
I know what you're talking about. I just want to make sure everybody else knew what you were talking about. So
yeah.
Please tell me about it, because it's not you, Eli. It's not you that's been on this movie. This movie is kind of getting out to like in my movie groups. I'm seeing it popping up there. I'm like, okay, is Eli on to something with this? Because you've been talking about this forever,
Yeah.
But now that it's hit, it's kind of like taking off. So give us a quick rundown of exactly what this movie is.
It's a zombie movie on the reservation. It's a native zombie movie,
Okay.
So, because Geek Savs, we try to highlight Native Americans in pop culture, and there's hardly ever any in pop culture, and it usually sucks. We've been following this. We know this director. We watched his other movie. We heard his new movie was a zombie movie. We were all excited. So we've been following like the making of this film the past couple of years, and it finally came out. It was supposed to come out. It was funny because Fat T, one of the other Geek Savs on our podcast, his birthday. They were going to have a screening here in Minneapolis on his birthday. and we were all planning on going. There's going to be a Q&A with the director. It was going to be this big fucking thing, and we were so excited. And Fat T was like, "It's on my birthday." He couldn't wait, and then the quarantine happened, so then everything got canceled.
Goddamn COVID-19.
Yeah, so they ended up putting it out on VOD. It's on Shudder, at least in the US. That horror app.
Now, was that always the plan to put it on Shudder?
Yeah, I remember hearing that Shudder was going to eventually get it after it was supposed to have a theatrical run.
Okay. So basically, Shudder, Blood Quantum's doing pretty much the same thing as like Trolls 2 is doing right now, since theater's not in, fucking go VOD.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, so it came out, I watched, I think, Monday. It came out like on midnight on Monday, and I like heard it was out, and I went and watched it. Watched it at 1 a.m, and then watched it again the next day, and then wrote my review, took my notes and everything on my second viewing, wrote my review, and then that very night, was it that night or the next night? I was like trying to get, hey, we should do it. Watch this flick so we can do a review, because I wanted to get, it's hot right now. I want to get the trend, it's trending. Let's ride the hype. So yeah, so it's like between Monday and Wednesday, it was all Blood Quantum shit. Writing reviews, doing the pod. I even started doing the YouTube clip shit.
I didn't click on YouTube, but I did see you were getting out there with those. I was like, okay, Eli.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, figure, hey, for those who are too lazy to click on, a podcast app, because I get that all the time.
Right. I don't want to listen.
Yeah, I tried listening to your podcast, but it kept getting like interrupted and blah blah. Like, well, download an app. Download Stitcher.
Right, Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify. Yeah. It's plenty of ways to listen to, anything on Outright Geekery.
So I ended up, I basically took like half the episode, threw it on YouTube, been sharing that and just getting that out there, So that was like one thing. Then I got the Conan podcast.
I forgot about that. I'll be honest with you, Eli. We just talked about. I hadn't caught up with episode 2 or 3.
Yeah,
I've been busy myself, but I was trying to catch up with it.
Yeah, so I was like, oh shit, I got to read a Conan comic, So then I had to do that, and then on Fridays I got the Clone Wars Escape Pod, which was so I had to watch that and review that, and and then I jumped on a super fun time show with last night or whenever that was.
Yeah. We ran everybody off. So yeah, I was on that also. So like I said, we did a bunch of recording. You did a bunch of stuff. I didn't do as much stuff as you did, but I did more than what I normally do. So even at this point, I'm like, fuck, I'm exhausted.
Yeah. I'm like, damn. I was like, I like wanted to read. I wanted to read and watch a bunch of other shit. I was like, damn, I gotta do all this other shit first.
Right. But at least now we finally calm down, so we actually get into the episode we were talking about. Like I said, now I do want to do a transition. You talked about VOD, about how Blood Quantum went to VOD. Now I want to talk about this specifically without other people interrupting me. Maybe interrupt me, I don't know if you will. But there's something else going on with VOD right now, and that's with Universal. Now, Universal has a big deal going on right now. Like I said, when the quarantine hit and COVID-19 hit, they just started to say, fuck it. They just started releasing their movies, on iTunes. Whatever they had, they were just releasing it. The Hunt is one of their movies. I think Invisible Man was also on it. Just released them on iTunes at the time. And then they released Trolls 2, which was supposed to be, at least the other movies they named, came to theaters and then went to VOD. Trolls 2, on the other hand, never had a chance to go to theaters. So instead of them waiting like they, like with Disney is with Black Widow and Warner Brothers with Wonder Woman, they said, fuck it, we're just going to put it out there. So they just put it on VOD and it exploded. It's like a huge hit right now. I don't know what the numbers are right now, but it's like doing gangbusters right now for Universal. Well, and the Universal president or CEO, whoever came out, said that since it was so popular, going forward, they're going to release all their movies in the theaters and VOD same day. Well, that rubbed some people the wrong way. Specifically, AMC. AMC did not like that. AMC specifically said, we are going to boycott you now because if you pull this bullshit, because there's always this unspoken rule. Like, it's nothing written down, nothing, legal, anything like that. It's like a handshake deal that if you put a movie in the theaters, you got to wait at least somewhere around a 90-day window before you decide to, do aftermarket like Blu-ray, VOD, things like that. Since Universal pretty much said, fuck that deal, AMC's pretty much like, well, fuck you back. So they pretty much said, we're going to boycott you So we're not playing any of your movies in our theaters from now on. So that's kind of weird. And to back them up, Regal Cinemas came out with a statement. Now, I can't remember if I have a Regals in Mississippi or not, or next to my theater. I think I do. But Regal came out with a statement that basically said, well, we're not going to boycott like AMC did. We're just not going to play your shit. That's all. No threat. Just a promise. You know, if you do the same VOD bullshit you plan on doing, then we're not going to play any of your movies in the theaters right now. That's just what it's going to be. So, yeah, so Universal is back in the corner right now. So what do they do? Do they do it? And now, there's all kind of things on the movies going on right now. People are saying, well, the movie theaters are dying. They should do that. No, the movie theaters are not dying. They had $5 billion going in the market last year. Like I said, it is a big thing going on right now with Disney because since there's no movie theaters going on right now, they're losing money. You know, especially with no theme parks and nothing else going on right now. So the movie studios need the theaters. Because without the theaters, the movie studios won't make the money. Like I said it on Super Fun Time Explosion show that when Fast and the Furious comes out next in 2021, they're not going to make $1 billion on iTunes. It's not going to happen. They need the theaters to get their money there. So I have a feeling that Universal is going to back down and reverse this policy they have going right now. Yes, I understand they're doing the policy right now because that's the only way they can get money. But they can't afford to piss off the theater because if AMC jumped on the bandwagon and Regal jumped on the bandwagon, you're going to get more trickling down and putting pressure on Universal to change their policy. Because notice nobody is on the other side backing up Universal. Disney's shutting the fuck up, Sony, Paramount, all these other people like that because they don't want to piss off theaters. Disney definitely don't want to piss off the theaters because if they piss off the theater, that's how they get their money. You know, Black Widow's guaranteed $500 million, and people keep saying the theaters are hurting. Bad Boys 3 did $400 million in January. They're not gonna do that on VOD. So yeah, it's they need it. So personally, I think by the end of the year, Universal is gonna reverse their policy. It's not gonna be something to stand because they need the theaters. Theaters aren't dying. The studios need them, otherwise the studios will die. So that's my thing.
And movie theaters ain't going anywhere. Alamo Drafthouse has proven that people will go and watch old ass movies in the theater.
Right, because people want that theater experience. Now, I know there's a bunch of people saying, why should I go to the theaters? Because I have an 85-inch TV and I have a blah, blah, blah acoustic surround sound with speakers in every ceiling. I don't have that shit. You know, look around. Yeah. I'm filming this shit in my apartment right now. I don't have any of that shit. So when I go to the theaters, I get a theater experience. I get a movie experience. Imagine watching Endgame on your TV at home.
Yeah, it sucks.
It would suck, you know. You need that theater experience. Yes, the popcorn is super high. Yes, there's somebody smoking weed in the front row of you that you got to smell. But at the same time, you get that theater experience where you get this crowd rock concert feel. You get this huge screen with the surround sound. It's a date night, you know. You might want to talk to a girl. You want to go to a movie, something like that. It's a fun experience. So you can't do everything at home. People are already freaking out right now about the quarantine now. They want to get out the house. They want to get out the house. Now you want to take one less thing away you can get from the house. You know, you can go out to the movies, have a date night and stuff like that. So people don't know what the fuck they want.
Yeah. I mean, I heard like I said, back to Alamo Drafthouse. They're the Ninja Turtles cereal party at like 12 in the morning on a Saturday, you know. Right. Like, doesn't that sound cool? Go to the movie theater and watch Ninja Turtles and eat cereal.
Yeah, and you get that shit. I don't get that shit here. But if we did, say if they dropped Terminator 2 in the theater next week, I'd go see that shit.
There's a bunch of I mean, even AMC was doing retro screen. The last movie I saw in the theater was The Color Purple 30th anniversary or whatever, at the AMC.
Okay, I know. That's why I made that post. You were like The Color Purple. I started to make a smart ass post like, you know, they made movies after 1985. You know that, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like that was the last movie I saw in the theater because then like a couple weeks later was the quarantine, and I hadn't seen anything else after that.
Oh man, that's wild.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. Should we jump to the video game news or should we? Let's do it. Let's jump to video game news. Okay. So video game news, we're gonna jump into it because this is actually some interesting shit that happened. Eli, are you excited for not Uncharted, The Last of Us 2?
No.
Okay, you're not alone. Because even though it was one of the most anticipated games of this generation, which some people think it don't even come out this generation, might come out the PS5, something like that. Well, some pissed off employee or somebody that may not even work for Naughty Dog, the company that makes The Last of Us 2, leaked the story. And
really?
yeah, just leak the whole story. Just don't give a fuck. Just leak videos of the story, not even just pictures of it. Like he leaked videos of it. And apparently, like major characters die. A major character that you didn't know turns out to be gay, and everybody's just fucking pissed. Now people are boycotting, and then there's also news about how Naughty Dog, treats their employees. They're getting underpaid, they're getting overworked, things like that. So people are just getting pissed off on the game that's not even out yet. So it's like one of those controversial SJW type deals that's going on right now. So weird shit. My thing is, everybody need to calm the fuck down. Why are you getting pissed off on a game that hasn't even came out yet? 2, if you're excited for the game, why are you spoiling the game for yourself? Like if a movie that I'm anticipating to come out or a TV show I'm anticipating to come out and a spoiler leaked, I'm not going to watch it or know about it. I mean, even with this Last of Us thing, I didn't watch it myself because I don't want to know what's going on. But these guys just run out there and just spoiling the shit for themselves. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Like Gomer, just, ooh, check it out, and then shares it on everything.
Right. Now, the thing about Gomer, he didn't really give a shit about this. So spoilers for him for a movie he didn't give a shit about. That's one thing. But you got people actually that were excited to see this shit, went out of their way to see this shit, now spoil themselves for the thing, and now they don't want to even play the game anymore. Like, okay, so you spoil yourself because you saw 5 to 10 minutes of experience that's probably going to be like 20 hours? Really? That's what you're getting pissed off about? So, I know people are weird. And some heartbreaking news that really hit my heart, Eli. News that I was dreading, that it finally came to fruition. Evo 2020 has been canceled.
Well, yeah, of course.
I know. I was scared it was going to happen. I was hoping it wouldn't, but it did. For those that don't know what Evo is, you obviously don't listen to this podcast. Because that's all the fuck I do is talk about Evo in here. Evo is like the nerd Super Bowl. It's basically, they go to Vegas. They got a whole bunch of fighting games, Street Fighter 5, Marvel's Capcom, Soul Calibur, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, what the fuck ever. And they pretty much just have this big contest, and whoever wins the prize gets like $1 million and shit like that, whatever. Was on ESPN a while ago, not on ESPN anymore. I guess contract's canceled. But it's like a huge fucking deal as far as like fighting game tournaments. Since this Corona check came in, which I haven't got yet, but I was hoping to come in soon. I was fucking gonna go to Vegas, maybe go to Evo one time and maybe compete and get my ass whooped, maybe do a money match on the side, but can't do that now because it's been canceled. So that hurts my heart. That's one thing I'm more excited for than anything else. I'm more excited for that than Comic-Con or E3 or anything like that. That's the shit that I'll sit there and we'll stream that shit all day and then bore the fuck out of Eli talking about that shit. But can't do that this year. So Eli, you're safe.
Oh, well, thank you.
That's it. Video game news. Shit, I guess we filibustered up. Can we jump into it?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it wasn't a whole lot of topics because there's nothing going on, so this is all we have. So, for those who know what's going on, this is I don't know if we can say this. May the 4th. Today is May the 4th, but legally,
May 4th.
May 4th. Because we can't say it. Legally, we can't say it. That should have been another topic. Let's talk about the topic real quick. Okay, so for those that don't know what's going on, May the 4th is a Star Wars celebration. If you're a Star Wars fan, you pretty much set apart anything you do, and you celebrate Star Wars. Also, Eli, I don't know if you have Disney Plus, but I think Rise of Skywalker hit Disney Plus. Yeah. So Disney Plus has all of the Star Wars movies in 4K. So I don't have Disney Plus, but I would, and if I was off that day, I would just just stream Star Wars all the day. All day. Also,
they're doing the series finale of the Clone Wars on tomorrow.
May the 4th. So they timed this shit perfectly, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the episode 11 Clone Wars came out on Friday, but since May the 4th, they're doing the season finale on May the 4th. So it was cool because the last episode was awesome and it ended on a really cool cliffhanger, and I don't got to wait a week. So it's on tomorrow. It might be on tonight after this.
Eli, are you planning to marathon all Star Wars movies?
Probably not. I haven't really done that in a while. I haven't.
I just do that all the time.
I'm always watching Star Wars. That's the thing. I mean,
okay, so you don't have to set apart a time to do it.
Yeah. I gotta start reading that fucking Kingdom Come is what I gotta do.
Yeah, when this podcast ends, we're gonna immediately start reading Kingdom Come so we can have this shit ready for next week. I'm not doing any other
Bunch of homework.
podcasts or.
Yeah. Get my notebooks. I'm going to go to the library and shit.
Oh, I'm gonna like download like online courses and shit, you know, that are broken down that comic.
Yeah.
Like this is what they really meant in this one. Like this,
Yeah,
this is a fucking college course,
We should charge people to listen to the next episode.
right? Do a TED talk, you know.
You guys are going to get educated.
Right. But that's why we're gonna do this one right now, because this is some fun shit before we start to get into like some real homework and shit, you know, before we go into it. But like I said, May the 4th, legally we can't say it because Disney put out a tweet saying that anybody uses that term, they own it. So technically, if we say it, they own this podcast. So Disney owns us anyway. It's just what it is.
They could pay us, yeah.
They're not gonna pay us shit. They're gonna just take our shit, you know. We'll take this podcast, thank you. I'll be stuck doing podcasts with Raymond from now on. Oh shit. But yeah, the story we're going to do today is I know Eli, you gotta set this up, but I'm gonna set up one thing about this. The story we're gonna do is called Vader Down. Now, this is from the Star Wars run when Star Wars was first initially purchased around that time, you know, back in like 2015. And this was like, I think this was before The Force Awakens, wasn't it?
It was before The Force Awakens, yes.
Yeah, so it was before The Force Awakens. This was from the run, and here's the thing about it. The run is just from actually two stories, the crossover event, from the Star Wars run and the Darth Vader runs were going at the same time. And fun fact, the Star Wars the first issue of the Star Wars run, Star Wars #1, is the highest selling issue of last decade of any comic. It was it's the only comic to have sold 1 million copies.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I remember my comic shop did a midnight release, and I bought a bunch of the variants and shit.
Yeah, it was insane. I don't know what I was doing around at the time or something like that. I don't think I was recording a podcast or anything. But yeah, I didn't know how big that comic was, but apparently it was huge. This was 2015. Marvel put some serious money behind this because, like I said, this was the first time Disney, Marvel was doing Star Wars comics again, because Marvel was doing Star Wars comics before anybody was doing them. They went away, then they came back. So it was like the prodigal son coming back. Comic was huge. So now this is a crossover event with that one, and and it's insane. So Eli, I'm gonna just let you set up some backstory about this story, exactly leading up to the actual story of the crossover.
So this was considered the new canon. So all the stuff that Dark Horse had did and all those novels, they all of a sudden became legends, and this was the new canon. Which I didn't mind. I don't give a shit. Whatever the fuck. So yeah, Star Wars, the Star Wars comic, it took place right after the first movie. Oh, or not the first movie. I got to remember what decade I'm in. My first movie, which would be A New Hope.
Right. Technically the fourth movie, but yeah, whatever.
Technically the fourth movie, but the first Star Wars movie ever made, which was A New Hope. It takes place immediately after that. The rebels blew up the Death Star. Luke is a big hero. So is Han. They're all, they're all part of the rebellion now. Vader. Also, yeah, there was the Vader comic. So they were kind of coinciding with each other. There were tie-ins. You read Star Wars and Vader at the same time. You got it filled in bits and parts of the stories. Better than any Marvel event. So basically, what was happening is, yes, the rebels had to flee Yavin because the Empire knew where they were.
They knew where they were, right? Yeah.
So they're basically searching. It's before they got to Hoth. They're searching out new bases, and Vader, he's searching for Luke. He doesn't know who Luke is, but because the Death Star got blown up,
they're looking for him, and they know he did it. Yeah.
Vader was the sole survivor of the Death Star massacre or whatever. The Emperor's pissed at him, so he basically demotes Vader and sends stations him way the hell out in the Outer Rims, gives him this cruddy job because hey, you let our biggest weapon ever get destroyed by these little piss ants. How could you? The Emperor even starts looking for other apprentices.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, so Vader's kind of like in in the doghouse with the Emperor. So he ends up trying to fight. So in secret, he's searching for the boy that blew up the Death Star. And so throughout the Vader comic, he is doing investigations. He hires Boba Fett to find out where they trace him to Tatooine, that he grew up on Tatooine, and he's got, that's we first meet Dr. Aphra. She's like this Indiana Jones, like outlaw archaeologist. She kind of, she does like shady criminal dealings and shit. He hires her to like track Luke down and all that stuff to find out who this person was who blew up the Death Star. And slowly throughout the series, he starts getting information. He finds out that the guy's name was Skywalker. Then he figures out, oh shit, that's my son. All, it's all this, him realizing who Luke is. So prior to this, there was this whole deal. There was this thing with where he hired Aphra to rob a starship. So yeah, that was the storyline that was going on. Is, because Vader's doing shit in secret. He's doing shit under the table, so the Emperor and like the Imperials don't know what he's doing. So he's got Aphra kind of hiring bounty hunters to rob this Imperial starship of its credits, so he can fund their missions. And the Empire starts investigating, and so like the story leading up to this, there was this one general, this one like not inquisitor, what was he called? Adjudicator or something like that. He was investigating the robbery of this starship, and he's basically finding out that this was an inside job and basically coming on to Vader. Like finding out that something's not right, that somebody from the Empire was in charge of this robbery. And he's kind of tracing it back to Vader, and Vader's going around killing, like in Goodfellas, Jimmy killing everybody who did the Lufthansa heist. That's what Vader's doing, like killing everybody who was involved. He almost ends up killing Aphra because he knows the Empire is going to eventually find her. So he almost ends up killing her, but she's like, I know where the boy is. I know where Luke Skywalker is. And she's like, I will tell you. And he lets her go, and he tells her he's on, what's the planet called?
Vagris Voss.
Vagris Voss, yeah. He's
yeah.
on that planet. So
now, keep in mind, Vagris Voss, when we talk about the story, Vagris Voss is a big focal point of the story we're about to talk about. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the planet. So that's basically right before the events of Vader Down. So Vader decides to go to Vagris Voss to track down Luke. And Vagris Voss is supposed to be like this desolate planet, like this desolate, like uninhabited planet. So he thinks that Luke is there all by himself. So that's where we are. That's where this story starts.
Okay. All right. So now you got set up where we're going. Now we're going to finish the story. This is actually the beginning of Vader Down. So Vader is headed to Vagris Voss, also getting ready to look for Luke. But when he gets to the planet, it's not just Luke. It's 3 squadrons of the rebel fleet waiting for him. So he gets there. He's like, oh, shit. So I guess I'm going to fight. The yellow squadron runs at him, starts shooting at him. But Vader is, like I said, if you watch the prequels, Anakin's one of the best fighters that have ever existed. So is Vader. Vader wipes the floor with these guys. They're shooting torpedoes at him, shit like that. Even the ones he can't dodge, he force controls them and throws them back at the ships and blows them up, shit like that. They can't do shit with Vader. After he kills out the yellow squadron, I think the blue squadron, he like destroys them. Then of course the red squadron is after him also. So the red squadron goes after him, he's fighting them off. And then Red 5, if you know who Red 5 is, if you watch your if you know your Star Wars lore, Red 5 is Luke Skywalker. Red 5 is sitting there looking at him just like they don't know who's in the ship. Like, they don't know Vader is in that ship. They just know somebody's just wiping the floor with them. And it's like, I'm going to take this guy out. So Red 5 is just gunning right at him. Vader is shooting at Red 5 and missing him. He was like, oh, I finally found somebody worth killing, because he doesn't know who Red 5 is. So Red 5 is going right at him, and the comms and like, Red 5, you're going too hot, your speed is too hot, and he's like, R2, cut the comms off, I don't want to hear this shit. And then they ran right into each other. Bam! Red 5 runs into Vader's ship, and they both fall down to the surface floor of Vagris Voss. And then Matter of fact, right before Luke hits him, Luke tells them that's Vader. That's Vader on his ship because he can force feel him. He can feel that Vader's on his ship, and they're like, oh shit,
Vader can sense that it's Luke. He's like, oh shit, this is that kid that blew up the Death Star. This is him.
Right, they sense each other. Yeah. And matter of fact, even when they're going down, Vader's just like, okay, well, shit, I'm going down. But if that kid is as strong with the Force as I think he is, or he's supposed to be, he's not gonna die either. So they both, spiral down to the surface floor of Vader's Vaz, and then the Red Squadron is the only one left, just like Vader down, Vader down. So that's why the story is called Vader Down. So basically, the story is about that Vader is stranded on some desert planet surrounded by a rebel fleet. That's the story,
And nobody knows he's there. Like the Empire doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
So he's on his own.
He's on his own. The entire rebel fleet knows he's there because Vader's Vaz is not a deserted planet. It's actually a rebel base.
Yeah, that's their secret base.
That's their secret base. He didn't know that. So they keep
Before
saying
Hoth.
before Hoth. They keep hopping from planet to planet before they get to Hoth and Empire. This is where their base is now, or at least one of their bases. So Vader's on the ground. Luke's on the ground, and so the base of Vader's Vaz is like, oh, Vader's down? Okay, we need to go and make sure that that ship has been destroyed. And if it hadn't been destroyed, we need to make sure Vader is destroyed with them. So the entire planet of Vader's Vaz, circulates on that one spot where Vader is supposedly have been crashed at. And they send a word to everybody in the Rebel fleet, including Princess Leia. Princess Leia is saying that, oh shit, yeah, so Vader's down in Vader's Vaz, and y'all sent the entire planet to go down and kill him? Yeah, that's not enough. We need to send more people down there to make sure that Vader is done one for all. Because if we take out Vader, that's pretty much a fuck you to the Emperor. If that's his number one attack dog. So we need to make sure he's done. And matter of fact, I'm going to send a fleet down there myself. That's what Leia says. Leia says, I'm going to send a fleet down there myself to specifically take him out. And Han's with her, and Han Solo, Han Solo is just basically like, wait a minute, don't you understand what's going on, Leia? Okay, so if Vader went to Vader's Vaz, you know who else is down there, right? Luke. Luke told us earlier he was going to go down to Vader's Vaz also. So obviously Vader is after him. And Leia's like, yeah, I know that, but I don't have time to worry about that. This is Vader. This is Darth Vader, the most evil motherfucker on the planet. And on top of that, he killed my planet, killed my entire family, everybody I know and everybody I love. So I want to make sure I'm personally there to see this bastard burn. They're like, what about Luke? What about him? They're like, she's like, wow, okay. Well, since you're going to do what you're going to do, I'm going to take Chewie, I'm going to take the Falcon, and I'm going to rescue Luke. Can I at least get a speeder? Nope. Because anything I give you is what I can't use to take Vader. She was like, and Hans is looking at Leia like, I did not know you were this cold-blooded. But basically, Leia is so focused with vengeance. She's like blind to everything. She's like, I need to make sure Vader is done. Matter of fact, even when she gets down to the planet, they're just like, okay, Leia, you can just stay on the ship and you just quarterback us from the field. Like, nope, give me a helmet. I'm going to the field myself. That's the whole shit going on right now. So anyway, we get down to the planet, and Vader, and they see the destroyed ship. They zoom in with the binoculars like that. They see the destroyed ship. They're like, okay, we see the destroyed ship. There's no way Vader survived that. Then Vader walk out of it. He's just standing right there. And then the entire company of Vader's Vaz is surrounding him like, Vader, we got you surrounded. And here's the epic line. Now, Eli, I didn't know this was in this book. But this was some iconic shit that's about to happen right now. So the entire planet is surrounding Vader, telling him he's surrounded. All Vader does is pull out his lightsaber. He's like, only thing I'm surrounded by is fear and dead men. I was like, oh shit, that's the most awesome shit ever. That was a scan that just went viral for a while right there. So we go to the next page. I'm gonna get the next issue.
Now, meanwhile, we got Dr. Aphra.
Oh yeah,
she's out. She's in orbit. So prior to this, she told Vader where Luke was on Vader's Vaz. But when Vader got there and saw this whole squadron of rebels there, he's like, you set me up.
Right.
I'm going to get you for this. So now Aphra, she's like, oh shit, I just pissed off Vader. Maybe we should go help him.
Right. Like if we get Luke before he gets Luke, it make us look like, okay, we didn't fuck you over. And he might not kill us.
And of course, she's got, Dr. Aphra. She's got these murder droids, BT and 000. Mm-hmm. They're basically like killer R2D2 and
Yeah,
C-3PO.
basically
They're
bizarre
totally
versions
ill.
of them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're totally ill. They're assassin droids. They're awesome.
Okay, I want to talk about Dr. Afra for a second. I know you brought her up before. This is my first book, and this is my first interaction with her ever. I didn't even know what she looked like.
Okay, yeah.
So this is the first book I've ever even, because I've heard you guys talk about it before, but I get it now. I get it why she's like this breakout character. You know, just even if I don't know anything about it, just her look, her character, like you could see she's a breakout star. Like this is a hit they have on their hands right now.
Yeah, she's basically a cooler female version of Han Solo.
That's what I was about to say, and that's actually
Indiana Jones, Han Solo.
And that's kind of where we're going with this. So we got Dr. Afra, evil version of Han Solo, 000, evil version of C-3PO, B-21, evil version of R2D. So you basically have like a bizarro Injustice League version of your favorite Star Wars characters. That's basically the villains of the story. Which I thought were pretty interesting also. Where else we going with this? So yeah, so like I said, Luke is safe for the time being. Luke is like, well, if I survive this, I know Vader survived this. And he just hear the screamings and the destruction and shit like that. So he just know Vader just fucking these dudes up. He's like, yep, that's Vader. So since he's over there, I'm going to go this way. So he goes this way. He goes into the, because apparently the reason he's here is because there's a Jedi temple there. Eli, you got to tell the story about Obi-Wan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he had his Obi-Wan's journal. And that's why he came to Vader's Voss to find out more about, to learn how to become a Jedi. So he goes into this Jedi temple, abandoned, it's been destroyed and shit like that. It was wiped out by Order 66 or whatever you want to call it.
And that was one of the reasons why Vader got Afra, because she was an archaeologist and he knew that Luke was searching for Jedi artifacts.
Gotcha. Okay, that's why because she's looking for that. So he goes into there, he hears Obi-Wan's voice. Luke, you're not ready. You're in the wrong spot. Like, what do I need to do to get ready? Anyway, that's Luke's story right there. So, but while he's there, he sees, because he's with R2D2 the whole time. So when he's there at the Jedi Temple, he sees C-3PO. Hey, C-3PO, what's going on with you? And then C-3PO actually shocks him and knocks him out because R2D2 was trying to beep, tell him that's not C-3PO. Apparently, it was 000, Dr. Afra's evil murder droid, disguised as C-3PO because he looked just like C-3PO. He just changed the coating of his paint. So
yeah, she painted him. She painted him gold and shit too.
Right, she painted him gold and shit like that. So they take so that's why Afra and her evil killer droids take Luke. They were like, okay, if we can give Luke to Vader, he won't kill us. On the way to take him to Vader, that's when they get ambushed by Han Solo. So Han Solo finally got there. Like he heard all the fighting shit like that. He realized where they were. He's got a sniper rifle, and has Han ever used a sniper rifle before? I don't remember him being trained as a sniper. I know he was. He was in the Imperial, whatever. Okay.
There was that funny scene where Afra's on her ship and she's kind of like trying to get intel on who she's up against.
I forgot about
that. She sees like the four of them. She sees Luke, Han, Leia, the droids, but she doesn't see Chewbacca, and that kind of leads up to this next scene here.
Right, but it was funny when she saw Han Solo. They were like, "These are the because we're looking for Luke Skywalker, and these are his friends." And then she sees Han Solo. She's like, "Ooh, what do we have here? Like, is he dangerous, mistress?" Oh, I've never met him before. I'm just looking at his picture. So obviously, it's Harrison Ford in the '80s. What you expect?
Yeah.
So anyway, Han Solo got the drop on him. Got a sniper pointed at him, and Afra say, "Oh, you're Han Solo. Yeah, you suck. I see why they got so many bounty hunters on. I mean, so many bounties on your head right now. Because if you were half as good as they said you were, you would have shot us already. But since you're going to give us a warning shot, you lost your, element of surprise. So if you do shoot me, my killer droid here is going to kill the boy instantly before I even hit the ground. And matter of fact, and then the 000 is just like, hold up. What's his friend? Where's his buddy? What is a one-ton? And then you turn around and it's Chewbacca have flanked them and he rips off 000's arm. They're like, oh yeah, the Wookiee. And not only does Chewie rips off his arm, he beats him with his own arm. And 000 was like whole time, okay, this is just disrespectful, man. It's one thing to rip my arm off. It's another reason to beat me with it. So then he out of his middle finger and the other arm that he does have, he stabs Chewie and he injects him with a Mandalorian, like 500 milligrams of Mandalorian Xenobrex poison.
Like a poison, yeah.
It's a poison. Fucked up poison. takes Chewie out. Chewie's like dizzy, lightheaded. He's looking at 000. He sees 3 of them, so he knows, okay, he's out of it. And 000 just standing over him like, yeah, Wookiee. The shit was funny a second ago when you beat me on arm, wasn't it? Let's see how funny this shit's gonna be now. And before he can do anything, he gets his other arm chopped off by Luke Skywalker, who wakes up because he's got the lightsaber shit like that. So basically, they do all that. Han Solo and Afra get into a one-on-one, shootout and shit like that, and they both shoot each other with like wasp, worm wasp and shit like that. Anyway, wasp nest. They get hit. They make each other get hit with a wasp nest, anything like that. Basically, kind of showing the contrast between it, that they're kind of like on par for each other, like match for match with each other.
Yeah.
So basically, Afra, they got beat, so they run off. But while that's going on, that's when we go back to Leia. And Leia's just like, okay, look, I'm going to lead the ground troops myself to make sure this bastard Vader burns. I want to make sure Vader goes down. So while she's looking for Vader, she's got 2, backup guys with her. Let's call them red shirts. With Star Trek, I know what a red shirt is. Anyway, the 2 guys behind her get force choked immediately. She's like, oh shit, what the fuck happened? They're dead, gone. And then she turns around and it's Darth Vader staring right over here like, hello, princess, how you doing? They're like, oh shit. So Leia's like, oh yeah, I'm fucked, But so she's like, even if you do kill me, what I stand for is immortal or some shit like that. She tried to make some big Captain America speech, some shit. Vader's like, oh, if I wanted to kill you, I would have. I'm not gonna make it that easy. But he gets distracted because I think being on this Jedi planet, it fucks with his head. Because all the Jedi ghosts talking to him and distracting him shit like this. So he gets distracted just enough for Leia to run off. And Vader's like, you know what? I'm gonna let her run. I'm gonna let her get away. Because all she's gonna do is track down Luke for me. And when she tracks him down, I'm gonna just go get him. So I'm gonna let her do all the hard work for me. So she finally gets away. She gets to a certain spot. She finds C-3PO, the real C-3PO, because she came with him. And she tells C-3PO, I need you to find Luke, go to him, and get away from this spot right here. And then she radios to the entire Rebel fleet, that anybody that can listen. She like, look, I got Vader on my heels right now. He's about to find out where I am right now. So when I give you the signal, I want you to bomb this shit out of this area right now. Like the entire, and don't leave a single.
She's willing to die. She was like, kill me.
She's basically suicidal at this point. Like if it kills Vader, she didn't care what happened to her. And C3 was just like, hold up, if you bomb the entire area, I mean, that's certain death. She's like, yes, hopefully for Vader also. So that's why I need you to get the fuck out of here. Get Luke, get him out of here, because I'm going to see this all the way through. I'm going to make sure Vader doesn't leave this planet alive. That's basically what Leia's like. So while they're doing that, so Han rescues Luke. Chewie's still fucked up, but they're saying that they're trying to put some, give him the antidote. But then Leia's just like, no. And they hear the radio message that she gave the other rebels to bomb the shit out the place. They hear it on the Millennium Falcon. So Luke is just like, wait a minute. Leia's crazy as fuck. She's suicidal. I mean, if she does that. And Han's like, yes, I know that. I had to rescue your ass first. I'm going to get her next. I'm saving one friend at a time. So let's get the Millennium Falcon. Let's go get her. Why? Before they can get there.
Is that where he says it's Rescue My Friend's Day or something?
Yeah, Rescue My Friend's Day or something like that. Which I like Han, because Han used to always be for himself in the other ones, but in this book, he's like the most altruistic character in the book, so I kind of like that. So when they get ready to fly off in the Millennium Falcon to go rescue Leia before she does something stupid and kill herself, they get smashed in the back by another ship. I'm like, oh shit. And this was Alfra's other bounty hunter friend that she had called in for backup. And this is Black Kristen. I'm gonna say the whole thing.
Cranston.
That's it. Black Cranston.
I used to call him Black Cranston for like years until it's Krasanstin or something.
Krasanstin? Oh, I just call him Kristen. Okay, so Krasanstin. Let's call him that. It's kind of hard to say what it was. So anyway, Black Krasanstin is an evil Wookiee, evil bounty hunting Wookiee, basically like the Bane version of Chewbacca. You think darkness is our ally? So. He just roars and shit like that also, but he tears a hole through the Millennium Falcon. Han sees him. He was like, look, I don't have Jabba's money. This not the time for this Black Krasanstin. And he, you're not here for me? Okay, cool. And then he grabs Luke. He's like, wait, what the fuck you doing? So, because he's not here for Han, he's here for Luke because he's on orders from Afra because Afra said he was going to pay him. So he takes Luke.
Afra actually owes a lot of money to Krasanstin. And Krasanstin always will show up, do a job with her and then ditch her. Like
Now-
it's funny. It's
Yeah.
actually funny.
Now let me
He's
ask, is
always,
this
like,
his first time
picking
showing up in this book, or has he
No,
he's been popping up? Okay.
He's been around before. He was like working with Boba Fett earlier on too in the series. But he's like, but Afra's in debt, owes a bunch of money to Chrysanthemum, and so he's always like reluctantly helping her, because she keeps saying, "Well, I'll pay you this time," and then and then he ends up ditching her and shit. Well, I got my money later, and she like, what the hell? It's actually pretty funny, yeah.
Okay, so we got Black Cranston, Krasanskin, whatever you want to call him. He's about to take Luke away, and that's when Chewbacca wakes up. He's like, you're not taking him. So Chewbacca rushes Black Cranston, but since he still hadn't recovered from that Mandalorian poison, or whatever like that, he's at half speed, and Black Cranston just wipes the floor with that, just beating the shit out of Chewbacca. It's nothing. While that's going on, like I said, C-3PO was on his way to find, Luke, Han, all stuff like that, but he actually run into 000 and BT. He was like, "Oh, hey, how are you guys?" And because, like I said, 000 had got his arms ripped off, so he blasts the shit out of C-3PO and takes his arms. He's like, "Hey, this shit fits like a glove."
I thought that was funny as hell.
I thought this was funny as hell, So he just walked around with his arms and shit,
Oh my! He's like,
I was saying this was funny, but it was funnier than I would expect a lot of Star Wars shit to read. But anyway, yeah. So like I said, Black Chrysanthemum just beating the fuck out of everybody, and R2-D2 finally gets there. And while he's beating the fuck out of everybody else, Han Solo's just like, "R2, did you ever actually shoot Chewbacca with the antidote?" He like, beep, beep, beep. He basically saying like, "Nah, I didn't." Well, might you want to do that? Because Black Chrysanthemum is standing over him with like a big ass rock about to smash his skull with this huge boulder. So R2 shoots the arrow like from across the room, wherever they are, into Chewbacca in the back of Chewbacca. So Chewbacca gets like this instant adrenaline shot. You can just see like, he gets all banged and shit like that. Punches through the boulder into Black Chrysanthemum's face, and then starts beating the shit out of him. But Black Chrysanthemum has a trick up his sleeve because he pulls out a brass knuckle and then starts beating the shit back out of Chewbacca. So Chewbacca is out, done for the rest of the book. While that's going on, let's go back to Princess Leia. Eventually, Darth Vader does catch back up with her, and she's just like, "Princess, you disappointed me. I thought you were gonna bring me the boy. You hadn't brought me the boy yet." And Leia's just like, "Fuck it," and she clicks the button. So when she clicks the button, that's the signal. I want everybody to bomb the shit out this area. And his thing is, while they're getting the shit beat out of him, Luke is on foot trying to stop Leia, from getting killed. But since she already pressed the button, they're going to do a bomb run. They're just going to bomb the shit out the area. But before they can bomb the area, the rebels get killed by another Imperial fleet.
yeah.
Yeah. So Leia's just like, and Leia sees Imperial fleet. She's like, "Oh, fuck." So the bomber run didn't work. The Imperial fleet has come. So basically, I'm done. And basically tells Vader, like, "Okay, yeah, you got me. I'm done. But guess what? The rebel fleet will live on." And Vader's like, "Oh, yeah, those aren't my guys." So it's not his guys. Apparently, it's one of those
Commander
weird...
Carbon. Commander Carbon. Now, I forgot to tell you this.
Yep.
So Commander Carbon, like I remember I said, Vader got demoted after the Death Star was blown up, and he's basically looking for new apprentices to replace Vader. And he gets, what was his name? Silo. There's a scientist named Silo who basically designed Vader's suit, his robotic suit. And he's been basically making a bunch of General Grievous type droids, a bunch of like cyber enhanced people who can wield lightsabers and shit, like basically Jedi robots. And there's this one called Commander Carbon. He's basically General Grievous with a Mon Calamari head, like the Mon Calamari race is.
It's a trap, right?
Yeah, what's his name?
Admiral Akbar.
Akbar, yeah, that's his race of alien. That's his Mon Calamari. So it's basically him with a General Grievous body, and he's been in league to replace Vader. He's like basically Palpatine's next in line, and he's using Afra. He was actually tracking Afra and her whereabouts to find where Vader was and find Luke. So Carbon is there to get Luke, and basically, okay, if I get Luke Skywalker, bring him back to the Emperor, and basically fuck Vader.
Yeah, so
You know,
basically, Luke is a
done.
huge MacGuffin in this whole story. Basically, everybody's looking for him. So.
Yeah.
So Commander Carbon is basically there to get. He's not only there to get Luke. He's out there to kill Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah, because basically you're my biggest competition. If I get you out the way, I can be the new apprentice. So basically, he's there to kill Vader. And he's got a whole bunch of other like stormtroopers and elite troopers there with him. Vader just waves his hand and just knocks all those other guys away. Like, no, you're not touching Leia, because they were there to get Leia also. Like, you're not touching Leia. She's mine. And that's when Commander Carbon, does his robot General Grievous thing for swords. Now, Eli, let me ask you this. I saw a purple lightsaber. There's only one Jedi with a purple lightsaber.
Oh.
Did they
okay.
ever mention specifically that was Mace Windu's lightsaber?
I have not heard anything. I have not heard anything.
Okay, I saw it and I was just like, Anyway, maybe I'm overthinking it. But anyway, Commander Carbon pulls out 4 lightsabers. He's like, I got 4 lightsabers to your 1. Basically like, I don't give a shit. I'm the Dark Lord of the Sith. I'm the Lord of Darkness, So they fight and shit like that. They fight all the time. They fight all the way into like this Jedi temple. They keep fighting and shit. But like I said, since they're in the Jedi temple and the Jedi ghosts keep talking to Vader, they keep distracting him. So this guy that he normally could have beat the shit out of is actually, holding his own because Vader's distracting all these ghosts in his head. And while they're fighting, Leia has the drop on. She's like, I can just shoot this dude in the back of the head and just be done with it, and that's it, But that's when C-3PO with no arms, finds R2-D2 like, R2-D2, what the fuck are you doing, man? You just letting everybody get their ass whooped. You're not telling me? So he's trying to call Princess Leia. He's telling Princess Leia what's going on. Leia, you got to save us. You got to help us. Because we've got to tell you that Luke actually gets kidnapped by the Empire. Or by Commander Carbon's crew. So he tells her, Luke's been kidnapped. Han Solo about to get his head ripped off by Black Chrysanthemum. Chewie's been knocked the fuck out. But worst than any of that, I don't have any arms. So you got to help us. And Leia's just like, and see, Leia has a flashback of Alderaan getting destroyed. She's like, I got to choose between Vader and my friends, because I can kill Vader right now and be done with it.
Yeah, and Vader's like they're battling in the distance. So there's all this mist and dust. And so she doesn't have a clear shot. She wants to shoot, but then C-3PO is like, you got to help us. So she's like torn between vengeance and helping her friend. Right.
So, but here's the thing, right before, because she gets a flashback of Alderaan getting destroyed, she's like, okay, I got shit up. But since she's in this Jedi temple also, now maybe it's the way I interpreted Eli, she gets a force vision.
That's why
I think she gets a force vision. She gets a force vision of Han, Luke, and Chewie all dead. She was like, oh shit, if I do this, they're dead.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. There's that panel right there. Yeah.
That's why I interpret it as a force vision. So she hears, C-3PO in the back of her ear. She like, fuck. Okay, so while Vader is fighting Commander Carbon and stuff like that, she puts a blaster back in her holster, and she tells C-3PO, C-3PO, do just whatever you do something. Stop him from stop Black Cranston from beating the fuck out of everybody until I get there. At least try to save them. And C-3PO like, you want me to stop a killer Wookiee that's beat the shit out of everybody? Like, okay, I'll try to do something. So C-3PO walks over to Black Cranston from a distance, he's social distancing. He sees him about to pop Han Solo's head bite off, and he just asks him, Black Chrysanthemum, can you not kill my friends? If you don't mind. And he just puts Han Solo down. He's like, CR2, I told you we just talk him down. While he's saying that, Black Cranston punches a hole through C-3PO. But when he punches a hole through him, apparently he gets like a electric shock to him because he punches one of his electric whatever. So Black Chrysanthemum shocks himself by punching C-3PO. So he's out and C-3PO is out. And C-3PO is like, even though he's got a hole punch, he's like, damn, I didn't expect that shit to work. So he's done. Han Solo wakes up. Chewie is groggy, but he finally gets to his feet. But when they both get to their feet, that's when they see Dr. Aphra. Dr. Aphra like, y'all might not want to move anymore because while y'all were knocked out, I planted landmines all over your feet. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna get the Luke Skywalker, and he's coming with me. And while she's doing, and they're just asking him like, hold up, so you working with Vader? Like, do you really know what's going on with everything? Oh, you don't have no idea how much I know. And while she's talking, she gets punched in the face by Leia, who just knocks her clean the fuck out. And Leia's just like, oh, well, if you know so much, you're about to tell us. Get on the ship, let's go. You know.
Oh, you skipped the part where
I did skip the part. What I skip?
Where Vader kills Carbon.
Oh yeah, that was the climax. It was the climax. Yeah. So because this is actually before that happened. So
well, what's her face? Afra comes down and like distracts, like takes out on her ship, takes out that cliff that they were fighting on.
Yeah, because Vader's able to get Carbon exactly on a bridge, and Afra just drops her entire ship right on him. So he's pinned down. Carbon can't go anywhere, and then Vader just stands over, and Carbon's like, "You really want the boy that bad, huh? This isn't about him going to the Death Star, is it?" And Vader's like, "You'll never know," and he just chops his head off. So that's it for him. And then that's when he tells Afra, "Look, I won't kill you if you get the boy back for me." So that's when she goes off and do that. But then that's when Leia punches her. They put Afra on the ship, and that's when they all load up on the Millennium Falcon. They're like, "Okay, we need to get the hell off this planet." Because Carbon's just gonna send more guys after. If we can get off this planet, then we'll be okay. So they managed to get off the planet, and Vader just watched them flies away, and that's the end. Why Vader didn't go after anything? Was that explained in another book, Eli, or he just watches them fly away?
Well, yeah, his fucking TIE fighter's all fucked up.
But yeah, so he.
Yeah.
How does he ever get off the plane? I guess he just steals another one
well,
and just leave.
Well, the Imperials know where he is now. You know, I mean, the Carbon showed up. So there's a bunch of Imperials there now, and so he's just gonna go fall back. You know, hey, it's me, Vader. I'm here.
Gotcha. So since the Imperials know about Vegas Vaz or Vargas Vaz, I guess the rebels just have to. Now they occupy their planet, so the rebels have to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah,
and find a new base.
And then, and then Vader takes on Silo, which is, oh man, that Silo story arc is dope. That's where he takes on a bunch of robot Jedi. Shit, a robot Rancor. Oh, it's this series was dope. The Star Wars the Vader book was one of my favorite arcs out of all these comics.
I'll be honest with you. I had low expectations for this book when you told me about it, Eli. When you told me, because like I said, with all licensed products, you're just like, it can't be that good. But then I started looking at the talent that was on this book.
Oh, Diodato, you got Jason Aaron.
Yeah, this is like their heavy. Marvel put their heavy hitters on this book. So this wasn't just like some shit they were just cranking out. They were like, no, make us a good Star Wars book. Make us a classic that, that will stand the test of time. And they pulled it off and was like, damn, dude, you got Jason Aaron writing this shit? Okay. Karen Gillian. He's the guy that pretty much like rebooted the Marvel cosmic universe after Jim Starlin. Annihilation Wave and Roar the Red. That was all him. Guardians of the Galaxy and all that shit like that. That was him.
Yeah. Star Wars and Vader were on my pull list for like a couple years. You know? I mean, they were just, and like I said, this was before Force Awakens came out. Star Wars hype was just coming back. And I stayed with Star Wars till like 20 something.
Yeah. Now the thing is,
and then I jumped back in like issue 50 or 40 or 5 or something. So I would come back to it periodically. But the Vader books have always been consistently pretty good. Especially this one, the Vader, and then the whole Vader Down. This was like about a year after it came out, and the Vader book was already awesome. And then this series, like everyone was talking about it.
I mean, this shit was awesome. I mean, because we always shit on Marvel, or not us, but like other comic book fans shit on Marvel as far as the comic book wise. Now, and everybody wants to say that Marvel makes shit books, but they really don't. I mean, you got the X-Men line. You got Immortal Hulk. It's another good one I'm missing. I love the Thor run going on right now with Donny Cates.
I'm fucking digging the Punisher.
The Punisher, right? So they got some good shit. You can whatever Daredevil book even though I don't read Daredevil. Anytime you pick up Daredevil books, good.
Souls. Was that Charles Soules writing Daredevil? That I was reading that for a while. Yeah. Right.
So the thing is, Marvel does have some good product they're still putting out right now, but that's in 2020. Let's back to 2015. Eli, let's be honest. In 2015, Marvel put out shit. This was that all new, all different initiative.
I remember this came out. Well, not this book, but Star Wars came out right around Secret Wars.
Yeah.
So, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, but you'd have to read every single book Jonathan
Yeah.
Hickman ever read. I mean, ever
Yeah.
written to understand what the fuck's going on in that book.
Yeah, the Red Wolf book wasn't so great, but
Occupy Avengers. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean that actual Secret Wars book was good, you know. But yeah, I mean, I can't say I was reading a lot of. What was I? Yeah, I remember. Yeah, Star Wars was one of my main books at the time.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying, because if you go back and around like the circa Marvel 2015, 2017, this Star Wars book versus everything that's put out there, this is way better than anything they were putting out back then, which I wasn't expecting. I was like, this came from Marvel?
like the death of Wolverine had just happened like a few months before that. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but they were just,
around
Marvel
that
was just cranking out just anything around the time. But I was
Yeah.
like, it almost feels like they put all their main focus in the Star Wars when they got it. They weren't fucking around with this. So it makes sense why this was, you know, the best-selling book of last decade, you know.
Yeah.
Especially with this run, because
Yeah.
it made me be like, damn, this is like a really, Eli, I was into this story. Like I said, I had low expectations, but I got into it. I had to reread it again while playing the John Williams orchestra, you know, theme song behind it, you know, like they really get immersed with the story of it.
And this came out like around the summertime. So as I recall, like we had Force Awakens, you know, and everyone was, oh, Star Wars is back. It's awesome again. And then Vader Down came out around the summer. So that was like the summer blockbuster in the comics. And then I think Rogue One came out. So it was like this was the glory days.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Like
if you're a Star Wars fan, now, like I said, I pretty much just follow the movies. I don't follow the extra stuff. But if you're a Star Wars fan, this is a must read.
Yeah.
I feel this is a must read. Not saying that it enhances the lore or, you know, it's canonical fit. It's just a good ass story, just a fun ass story. You want to see these characters you like doing fun shit they're doing, and the characters exactly acting how they're supposed to. You want to see Vader just be Vader.
Yeah.
It's this book. If you tell me, okay, like let's say I've never heard of Darth Vader before. Okay, I have a cyborg Ronin in space with Magneto powers. Okay, give me that.
Yeah, you like really glossed over the bat when he's down on the planet and he takes out that whole squadron of infantry.
It was awesome. I glossed over it.
He's like fucking taking out all these soldiers. They're like tanks are shooting like tank blaster bolts at Vader, and Vader's chopping them with his lightsaber.
I think he force controls one of their air turrets
Yeah.
and shoots down the planes. You know,
He pulls off a gun off a fucking tank and shoots the fucking Y-wings coming in.
right? Like he activating every day. Like he tells them to put their weapons down and he won't kill them. Like even though he's surrounded by the entire fucking planet.
Yeah, he does that like that fucking Last Airbender, like that fucking Avatar earthbending shit. He lifts a bunch of rocks.
Right, and was just like throwing them, you know, like force throwing them through the planes and shit.
Yeah, he's like totally badass in this book.
And that's the funny thing about it, because like I said, Vader is a bad guy. Vader is a villain. But like I said, when you see him surrounded by these guys, you're waiting for him to fuck these guys up. You don't want him to hurt like the main characters like Luke and Leia and stuff like that. When he gets in contact with Leia, you're like, oh, you're scared. But against these just red shirt, no name rebel guys, like you want to, please, Vader, fuck these guys up. You know?
And everybody is like having a fight. You got the two Wookiee fights. You got, the killer droids trying to kill C-3PO and R2. You got that going on. And then, when Carbon shows up, you get Vader in that lightsaber battle. You get all this cool ass action. Everybody has their moment to shine.
Yeah. I mean, because it almost feels like Vader was the hero of the story. Almost.
Kinda, yeah.
Kinda. I mean,
yeah, because he's in basically this is like the story that kind of brings him out of that funk that he's in his own series, because he got demoted. He's trying to he's doing all these secret dealings. He knows the Emperor is trying to replace him. He's trying to keep everything under the table. He's hiring all these bounty hunters and crooks and Afra to do all this shady shit for him. But then he's also got to erase all evidence of it too. So he's really, really this is the lowest he's ever. He's at a very low point. I'm gonna say the lowest he's ever been.
Right.
Mustafar after Obi-Wan whipping his ass is pretty bad. But he's at a low point, and this is the transition where he comes out of it. He kills fucking Carbon. You know, he knows who Luke is now, and basically everything's coming up Millhouse for him all of a sudden. You know, and this is like launches into where he goes after Silo and those robots. You know, and that's where you basically see the Vader becoming a badass again, and that's what I was like, wow, you know, because I have my thing with the prequels is they turn Vader into a bitch. You know, Anakin is such a whiny bitch in those movies. You know, he's not at all like Empire Strikes Back Vader.
But
like,
see, here's the thing. We have different opinions on that because you're saying he turned to a whiny bitch. But me, since I was rooting for Vader in his story, I did connect them with Anakin in those old movies. You know,
yes, because the comics, and watching the Clone Wars, you get to see those dramatic weight and actions that, okay, I can understand that now. You know, because you watch Attack of the Clones, that kid and,
I hate saying right.
and Empire Strikes Back Vader, those aren't the two guys.
Right.
I cannot believe that this kid, this whiny little bitch, grows up to be this badass motherfucker. You know, so that's where the comics and the shows come in and fill in those gaps. So that's what I like, and I keep telling people is like, if you're just watching the movies, yeah, you're gonna think Star Wars sucks,
right?
But it's shit like this. It's shit like these stories, shit like that. What's going on in the Clone Wars right now? These are some of the coolest Star Wars like stories ever, you know. And that's what keeps me being a fan. Where when I finally go see a movie that's that's not exactly what I want to see, I don't hate it as much.
Because you're mostly invested in the story. Now, my thing is, if Eli, like I said, if you're telling me the rest of the Star Wars and Vader run is as good as this, I'm going to go back and read it.
Yeah. Read up to, like, I ended up dropping, like, the Vader series ended, and then they got a new team, and then that's when they went back to the Castle Vader, which is also a good run, too. Mm-hmm. So, it doesn't continue. It's cool because
we did Castle Vader, didn't we? We reviewed that, didn't we?
I read that, yeah. And so, but the Star Wars run just keeps going on. And so I dropped it after 20-something issues, but then I came back to it, you know. But now they're doing the new Star Wars run, which is between Empire and Jedi now. So it's like they keep doing these different runs. But yeah, the first 20-something issues of Star Wars is really cool. And it coincides with the Vader book.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, like I said, they put the heavy hitters on this book. It's not, they didn't half-ass with this.
Jason Aaron was writing. Diodato only drew, I think, this story arc though.
Oh, did he? Okay, because Diodato's art is beautiful on this book.
Yeah.
And honestly, the way he was drawing Dr. Aphra, that made me fall in love with her. I'm like, she's evil, but damn.
Yeah. Who was doing the? I can't remember who was doing that. The first Star Wars books. It was Jason Aaron.
Cassidy.
Cassidy, yeah.
He's the guy that did the Ultimates. Yeah, he's great too.
Yeah. So the art in these books were always cool. Mostly the art in most of the Star Wars books were cool. You know, some of them get a little, like the Princess Leia art looked kind of like anime or manga. Where they kind of deviate. But the main books, the main Star Wars and Darth Vader books have always been good.
Yeah. And the thing I like about this story, like you just brought up Leia, I like what they did because Leia had an arc in this story. She wasn't a damsel in distress. They wasn't rescuing her. Matter of fact, she rescued them, but she had to choose between like duty and vengeance, and the safety of their friends. She had to choose between that.
She is a soldier in this book.
Yeah. And it's an interesting take. It's something that you never got from the movie. Like they hint at it in the movies, but you never really see it. Because the thing is between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, they pretty much imply that a lot of shit happened in between, but we never see it.
Yeah.
But it's just part of that. So, awesome.
So, book, I'm glad. Yeah, I thought, because I read it the other day and I was like, oh, yeah, I remember. I forgot how good it was. Yeah. I just remember it being cool, but I hadn't read it since then. So, going back and rereading it, I was like, oh, yeah, I remember this. And, oh, yeah. And then I went and grabbed some of the older, like the earlier stuff, the earlier Vader story arcs, and was like, oh yeah, Silo, and like, oh yeah, it's just really cool to go back and reread it and just remember how great and fun this book was.
I mean, this was some of Marvel's best stuff of last decade. I mean, like, damn, Where was Marvel with the rest of the books? You know?
Yeah, and it's funny because you see the characters, and I understand people who go to see the Last Jedi and they want to see Luke be a Superman and Jedi Jesus and do all this cool OP shit.
Right.
I understand because you get to see him do that shit in the comics. You get to see Luke do all the cool, awesome Magneto superhero shit that you want to see him do in the movies.
Right.
So I understand that need, and that disappointment, Yeah, because I read the books and I see Luke doing all this illish shit. I see Vader doing all this illish shit that I've never seen him do in the movies,
Right.
Except in Rogue One.
Except in Rogue One. That scene
Yeah.
was fucking it was a horror movie. Yeah.
Yeah. That, and that's where I get the feel. Okay, the movies are for families.
Yeah.
But
But
the
I mean,
books
that's like the scene in Rogue One was basically like the scene in this book was the scene in Rogue One cranked up to 11, like on steroids. You know?
Oh, you should have seen the last episode of the Clone Wars where Darth Maul did that shit. Darth Maul had a Rogue One scene, basically. It was awesome.
Damn. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that's why, the books are for the hardcore fans. Like you get to see everybody be the cool badass you always wanted. You get to see the heads getting chopped off and all the violence you don't get to see in the movie.
Right, because you just gotta say PG is made by Disney. So comics, they don't look close enough, so you can just do whatever you want,
Yeah. So Vader taking out a whole squadron of rebels, sure.
Man, yeah, awesome book. Like I said, if you're a Star Wars fan, just do yourself a favor. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, pick up this book. We recommend Vader Down. It's a 6-issue run. 6-issue run. Even though Eli read all the stuff leading up to it to let him know details, I didn't read any of that stuff. But I was still able to catch up and understand everything that was going on. There was nothing I felt like, oh, what's going on with that? It catches you up pretty quickly. So you can just read this 6-issue arc and you're fine. You're good. You don't even have to know who the main Star Wars characters are. The book tells you who they are.
Yeah. Even when like Carbon shows up in like issue 3 or 4, you're like, who the fuck is this?
Right.
They'll let you know.
But you get the idea. Okay, bad guy.
Yeah. And he explains, he's like, hey, Vader, you've fallen into my trap. I'm here to take you out and and bring our prize back to the Emperor. And you're done. And you get the history in just a couple panels.
Right. Like I said, I've never heard of Commander Carbon before, but I get the point. He is a asshole bad guy Vader needs to kill. Boom. Yeah. All the other shit is superficial, but that's the main thing. Vader needs to kill this asshole. So So because like I said, technically in this book, Vader is a anti-hero / whatever, so he needs a bad guy to fight also. So
yeah, he's the protagonist.
Yeah, basically he's the protagonist of the story. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I can't keep talking about this book. I wanted to read it again, maybe want to go back and read the other books. I'm excited for it. So I think we talked about this long. Like I said, it's May the 4th. It's time to celebrate May the 4th. If I was off, I would watch every single Star Wars movie there is, one from the beginning, just from 1 to 9 or 4 to 9, whatever the fuck is out right now, and just get it in, get a feel for it. Because that's what I do. Next week is the big book we've been dreading. We've actually been playing this book for like the last 3 weeks, and shit keeps coming up, so we put it off. I'm
kind of regretting. Didn't I suggest this too? It was my idea. Now
I think so. Yeah, let's do Kingdom Come. So for those that have never heard of we'll talk about Kingdom Come next week. But if you, because I've been looking at the numbers. Like I said, this is May the 4th. I looked at the numbers of April, and it seems like a lot of the listeners seem to like us doing these old throwback books and stuff like that. So we're just gonna keep it going as long as we can. Now keep in mind the comics come back, like the new comics come back on May 27th. That's when Marvel has already they put a specific date on it. We don't know what we're going to do around the time. We may just hop on those new books, but we'll see how it goes from there. But until then, we're going to keep this train going where we kind of do these old backlog of books also. So next week, Kingdom Come, and we'll just kind of keep you in the pipeline of what's going on from there. So yeah, if you listen this long, definitely like, share, and subscribe. We got our other podcasts. Eli, name all your 15 other podcasts you have going on.
Geek Savs, do the Riddle of Steel, which is a Conan the Barbarian podcast with Ogar and Logos. And then, the last episode of the Clone Wars is tomorrow, so only one more episode of my Clone Wars podcast where I'm just reviewing the new episodes. So that'll be done after tomorrow. And that's it. And then this. right?
And then
That's
this,
it.
and then Fun Time Explosion, Super Fun Time
And then
Explosion.
whenever that's just fun.
That's just fun.
jump
Like
on.
we don't plan for it.
Yeah.
Hell, we don't know if you're gonna be on it.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
whatever
why don't you
happens,
jump in?
just spontaneous stuff will happen. We
I
also
can't
have
believe yesterday because I jumped in the conversation and you guys were talking about like Mad Max and the Road Warrior, and then I went back and was listening to it before I got there, and you guys were talking about Braveheart. A bunch of people were saying they didn't like Braveheart. I'm like, oh, if I had been there.
666 said he, or whatever his name is, said he didn't like what was it he didn't like? Mel Gibson. So you pretty much like he hate all Mel Gibson movies, period.
Oh, so I was like, oh, if I had been in there when that.
Right.
You don't like Braveheart? What are you, a commie? You hate freedom?
Oh man. Oh, we also had Wrestling Council. They're still recording, doing stuff. Like I said, Boogie and Eli are like neck and neck trying to see who can crank out more podcasts a week than others. So he got more podcasts than I can think of. Hoodoo TV, Get Valiant. I don't know what Get Valiant is doing because there's no comics out. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Ogar, like I said, Ogar is doing The Riddle of Steel with me. So
right, he's on Riddle Steel with you. So I guess he's doing something to pass the time till Valiant comes back. Yeah, and that's it. Like I said, we got our dance call full. The moment this podcast ends, I'm jumping on Kingdom Come to kind of like dissect that book because it is a deep, dense, narrative.
I gotta set a goal. Okay, an issue a day, at least one issue a day.
Can't just overwhelm yourself at one time. It's not an easy read. So, yeah, hopefully y'all like it. You get to see what we look like. Like I said, we have a face for radio. So if you like for us to keep doing this or you hate our ugly ass faces, then let us know that too. And we would just go back to what we were doing before, where YouTube marks as a spam. But if you like this, definitely leave a comment and let us know.
I'm getting all self-conscious and shit.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. You see what I'm doing right now. I'm looking like the Black Wolverine, so I don't care.
I can't see you. Remember? I can't see you.
Really? You can't? I'm standing. You're like 50 foot tall in my face right now.
No, man. Remember you said it was something and you said I wasn't going to be able to see you? So I haven't been able to see you the whole time, man.
Oh, shit.
I'm looking at my ugly ass the whole time.
So we're just going to be shocked as hell when we just play this back. Hopefully this comes out fine. So, yeah, like I said, we'll wrap this up. Oh, definitely listen to Comic Cast last episode. Very interesting. That's all I can say. I was like, who the hell did they get for this show? So it was very interesting.
I heard a little bit about it and I was like, damn, okay.
Yeah.
Not right now.
Yeah, I thought we were supposed to be the edgy ones.
I was like, okay, I'm have to wait till later to listen.
Yeah, Boogie like, hold my beer. Until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
And may the force be with you. You will not sue us, Disney. Fuck you.